You're listening to Environmental Soup through the facilities of Trent Radio, or if you're watching on YouTube, this is Environmental Soup. I also have an Environmental Soup archive on Substack. Today I will be talking about wetlands, as this week was World Wetland Day. Wetlands are important because of the flood reduction, drought prevention, erosion control, pollution reduction, contamination, biodiversity, and habitat, as well as the recreation, those indigenous cultural attached to wetlands. And in Ontario, wetlands are under threat. Because of loosened regulations and development. I will show some of the articles. I'm just going to go to the next item. Here it is. So, Ontario Nature Blog, this is the first item. It's World Wetlands Day 2026, celebrating the community champions protecting wetlands in Ontario. It says, and this is from Ontario Nature, Ontario is home to 25% of all wetlands in Canada and 6% of wetlands globally. It is important to protect wetlands in Ontario specifically because 6% is a massive number of wetlands, and wetlands also, if we don't protect wetlands, then we're not protecting a lot of the biodiversity that's important globally. And then it says wetlands support iconic wildlife, protect communities from flooding, purify our water, and provide spaces for people to connect with nature close to home. And there's research, I know that there's research out there that backs up the importance of nature being close to people. And then it says that Southern Ontario has lost 70% of its original wetlands, and in the Greater Toronto area that increases to 90%. And there's weakened wetland and habitat protections. And then they have Ontario Nature is recognizing champions such as Caroline Crawley, co-founder of Total Protectors. And this is someone who blends two-eyed seeing and public advocacy to protect turtles, and established a indigenous stewardship program for the wetland habitats. And this has another name, Miskini Gazarin. Janet Stravinga, president and co-founder of Friends of Stittsville Wetlands. And this is someone who mobilized community volunteers to protect and restore ecologically significant Goulburn Wetland Complex near Ottawa. And Ottawa is one of the areas that's losing a lot of wetlands in recent years, especially. Those other champions that are listed in this Ontario Nature article, and they are advocating for stronger policies to ensure that ecosystems continue to support people and wildlife. Oh, and then there was a full list. There was Totals Kingston, Tara Bale, Susan Bryan, Carolyn Qualley. Susan Bryan is Thunder Bay field naturalist. Caroline Qualley, I think I mentioned previously. Michael Kuskin, Friends of Atawaspicat River. Tess Pengust, an Orangeville Town Councilor. Janet Stravinga, Friends. I mentioned Janet previously, and Matt Thompson, the Mulposa Ecological Initiative. And then there's ways to keep action. And then I'm just going to take a look at the time. 8 minutes. Oh, for some reason my time is blocked by a pop-up. But I have a recording device as well, so I'll look on that. I will go to the next item. This is a NOAA article. It says, "Cut through a wetland, how Ontario's losing a critical ecosystem." It's by Leah Boltz Kupelman, and it's talking about how a wetland there was a road paved, a path cleared, and a provincially significant wetland was damaged. But those limited things that the public can do. There was a developer cut a trail through a wetland, clearing trees and catching the community off guard, from the article. And this is near a housing development. it's usually neo-housing developments that wetlands get destroyed. And then the article says that there was flooding concerns, and apparently the municipal officials, they said that they had no authority. This township said that the subdivision application, which encompasses the multi-use trail within its limits, underwent a thorough review during the approval process by the town of Savon and the county of Simcoe. The ultimate authority for the subdivision approvals, and that was in a quote. The review included an environmental impact study, archaeological assessment, and stormwater management report. It is surprising that the mayor didn't know about this. But the mayor claimed that he was, the mayor claimed that they were caught off guard. But I guess there were a lot of development applications. And then the mayor was saying that he was surprised by the development, adding he wished residents had said something before the path was built. But it was all done before we even were aware. Like, how can you say something before something's even built? It's hard to... And I think someone did point it. It sounded like it was pointed out. Rama First Nation, who has territory within the wetland, was not consulted by the developer or province. And then wetlands are sacred to Anishinaabe people and carry a spirit and memory, and their protection is a shared responsibility. And then this article talks about how this could happen in other communities, municipalities. What happened in Savon reflects a much larger shift across Ontario, one that experts warn is reshaping the province's wetlands far beyond this single disturbed path. This wetland was provincially significant, according to government maps. But it's easy for developers to get a downgrade or remove protections of provincially significant wetlands. And then species at risk are not included in the wetland evaluations, and they can no longer be complexed. And that's like a lot of wetlands are complexed. So you're going to have wetlands that are... I don't know what wetlands are going to be protected at all. There was a group in 2022, Save Ontario Wetlands, that signed a letter that protested these changes. Insurance companies are recognizing the importance of wetlands. And then Ontario Land Tribunal is the only remaining avenue for many. Oh, what happened now? Switch transition. I don't know what happened now. I'm just going to. Oh, and yeah, insurance agencies. All talking about the impact of wetland complexing. Wetland losses. You can save a lot of money by protecting wetlands. Ontario Land Tribunal, it's often expensive for people to challenge wetlands developments and time consuming and doesn't always go your way. And then in Kingston, there was a case that it was pointed out that a portion of the wetland was no longer listed as provincially significant. But an expert didn't even recognize that when that happened. And that borders of the wetland complex have been updated in 2024. And then if you lose, then it's an expensive court case. Yeah, and then there was I think Susan was talked about. Okay, this is the same person. Conservatory is to safeguard 91 hectares of rural Ottawa wetlands. So I'm happy to see that. But that's not a lot of wetland. It won't make up the loss of wetlands. But it is something. It's the Natural Conservatory of Canada. Oh, this is from the Ottawa Citizen. Natural Conservatory of Canada. And then, yeah, so there was a wetland lost since 2015, from 2015 to 2020. This is the state of Ontario's biodiversity. And the Ottawa area has lost 1 to 3,000 hectares of wetlands in 5 years, 2015 to 2020. There was also other graphs. And then there was some there was a table that has eco-districts within mixed-wood plains ecozone with higher percentage of wetland loss in 2020 than in 2015. There was Pembroke that lost 0.42%, 103 hectares, or 0.31%. This is just a big old map. Yeah, and then this is eco districts with the lowest area of total wetlands in hectares and total hectares lost since 2015. And even areas that don't have a lot of wetlands are still losing wetlands, such as in Grimsey. They lost 11 hectares. Or offshore Coburg, 35 hectares. And then okay, so I don't have too much time. So this is Ontario Nature. This is a page about wetlands. It's talking about the importance of wetlands. Oh, I think that's the same page. I found a wetland advocacy guide, and this guide, I'll look through it, talks about the benefits of wetlands, why they're good at worth protecting. They store 1.3 billion tons of carbon, and you can visit the website. I'll copy this tab, duplicate tab, so I can go to the website. So this is looks like a scientific paper. Those flood protection. The guide says that the flood protection reduced by 29 to 38% in southern Ontario. Or natural wetlands can save between that amount. And a wetland as small as 2 hectares can reduce flood waters in an area up to 70 times its size. And then wetlands help reduce phosphorus, which helps prevent algae blooms, increases biodiversity, and then those Ontario wetlands are under threat. So I talked about some of those points, provincial policies, there was mention of that. And the location of where wetlands are being impacted a lot are where people live. And that's where a lot of the flooding happens. And that's where wetlands are needed the most. And oh, there's a back. Oh, what can I do to help protect wetlands? Stay informed about your local wetlands. Raise awareness in your community. sharing resources, stories, key facts, connect with your government representatives, get involved in decision-making processes. Going to council meetings, looking at agendas, they're all important. I recommend engaging with the field naturalist in the city that you live in, the Peterborough field naturalist, the Kingston field naturalist. Those are two good organizations. And if you're a student, then you should. I believe that you should listen to the student clubs. I know that Trent University was trying to develop a provincially significant, unevaluated wetland. And there was a lot of people that came out to protect the wetland. And if you can restore wetland, that's also good as well. And in the last couple of minutes, it is Black History Month. Next week, I will aim to have an episode dedicated to Black and racialized environmentalist. At least at some point in this month, an entire episode. I have a playlist on YouTube about Black and racialized environmentalist. Thank you for listening, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day.